It's a great day for optimal health. Do you know the average American consumes over 170 pounds of sugar every year? Fat consumption is actually down, except during the holidays. During the holidays, both fat and sugar consumption is up tremendously. In fact, from October to January, we gain an average of 15 pounds per person. And guess where that is? In the waist or the gut. If you haven't seen my video yet on the waist to hip measurement, make sure you watch it, because for every just inch you increase in the stomach, your risk for disease goes up dramatically. Your energy levels can lower immensely just because we're overindulging once in a while. In fact, diabetes and obesity are two of the most critical health issues in the United States today, with millions of dollars poured into research every year to further uncover the sources of this epidemic in order to help cure the disease. Well, researchers at the Yale School of Medicine have recently uncovered a feed-forward mechanism whereby excess sugar consumption may lead to increased fat production in the liver and the ensuing development of diabetes, one of the major problems today. An urgent issue. The main issue of concern is the increase in total sugar consumption. And not just that of high fructose corn syrup, although that's a huge issue. Basically, the increase of sugar has shown a parallel with the increase in obesity. While glucose, or sugar, is easily stored as glycogen in the body, fructose, is high fructose corn syrup and the things that are in most of the products today, actually go through the liver and create what's called a fatty liver. It's actually the most common chronic liver disease in the United States, affecting up to over 20% of all Americans. We have this fatty liver. Basically, because of sugar consumption, we're increasing the fat in the body, increasing the fat in the liver, causing major disease today. This side-by-side comparison shows a normal versus a fatty liver. Fatty liver, as I'd mentioned, is the most chronic liver disease, and it's causing major problems today just because of sugar intake. Type 2 diabetes is another common disease, as we've mentioned, is linked to obesity and affects over 25 million Americans. The results from resistance to insulin and a hormone that triggers sugar uptake and storage from the bloodstream into bodily tissues is one of the major problems. What happens is insulin binds to receptors on target membranes to activate a series of proteins in the cell to perform its task. So the accumulation of fat within key tissues activates other proteins that interfere with this thing called insulin, or the insulin pathway. So if there's too much fat in the liver because of the sugar intake, the ability of insulin to activate those signals is impaired, making it resistant to insulin. Now, if that makes sense, basically it's like a loop. Too much fructose or high sugar consumption can lead to excess levels of hepatic, what's called lipogenesis, or excess fat production in the liver, which then activates these proteins. So that's really the loop. And our cells have this feed-forward loop in which a little bit of fat accumulation further enhances the expression of the key enzymes involved in this lipogenesis, which results in more fat accumulation. So what do? This is a huge problem. What do you do when you know you're actually going to eat a sugary rich food and a fatty food? Not just every day trying to make good decisions, but on those special occasions when you know you're going to have a little higher rich type food. Well, there is an answer. What you do is you take enzymes to digest those rich, hard to digest fats. They're special lipase enzymes, and you take nutrients that have been proven to help regulate blood glucose levels and this tidal wave of sugar that might be coming into your system because of your consumption of maybe some holiday or foods that you might have at parties or different times once in a while. The product that has both of those in it is called fat sugar trim. It's a formula that contains all of the enzymes needed to digest the fats so that when we eat the unhealthy fats, it can break them down and do the most good we can. And also, when we consume high sugary foods, that the formula has specific nutrients like cinnamomyrums and chromiums and other nutrients to help regulate blood sugar so you don't have that huge insulin response that creates that cascade that leads to fat, fatty liver, the extra inches in the waist, and so on. So how do you take it? Really simple. You take 1 to 3 capsules depending on how bad or rich the food might be. You can take it afterwards up to 45 minutes and still benefit, but our best recommendation is to take it right before. So for the holidays or special occasions and you know you're going to eat those rich foods, at least have your fat sugar trim available for you and take it as needed. Have a great day.